Well, it's noon here in Lagos, Nigeria, and lunchtime politics begins right now. President Bola Tinubu forwards 4 new bills to the National Assembly for the administration of taxes, revenue establishment, and joint revenue board. We bring you a breakdown of those bills on the show today. And controversy over the planned local government election in Rivers State for this Saturday. Well, the controversy is thickening by the hour as the PDP kicks against the polls with a protest, while the State Electoral Commission says the election will hold as scheduled as the state government declares October the 4th and 5th, that's Friday and Saturday, as public holidays. And former Vice President and PDP presidential candidate Atiku writes Senate and calls for rotational presidency. We begin from the nation's capital, Abuja, the seat of power. President Bola Tinubu may be beginning a 2-week vacation today, but before that, he's written to the House of Representatives to consider 4 new bills. Reading the letter on the floor of the House, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, listed the 4 bills as the Nigeria Tax Bill, Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, Nigeria Revenue Establishment Bill, and Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Now, this is the latest in the list of tax legislations after the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, disclosed that the Withholding Tax Regulations 2024 has been gazetted. The president, earlier on in his Independence Day nationwide broadcast, said he recognized the struggles of Nigerians amidst the tough economic terrain and that his government is working to ameliorate their plight. Well, this is a developing story, and we understand that the same letter has been written to the Senate. Just in the Senate has also received President Tinubu's communication seeking the consideration and passage of the proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bill to align with ongoing financial reforms of the federal government and enhance tax efficiency and compliance in Nigeria. They see members of the Rivers State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, staging a protest march to the DSS office and the government house, both in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Taken off from the PDP secretariat along the Abba Road, Port Harcourt, they marched down to the DSS facility at Old GRA, where they submitted a protest petition, and then they proceeded to the government house. Interestingly, they were accompanied by members of the Tony Okocha-led All Progressives Congress, APC, on that march. The protesters were carrying placards with different inscriptions, kicking against the October 5th local government elections, which is expected to come up this Saturday. Some stakeholders, including former local government chairman, members of the House of Representatives, former chief of staff to the government house, loyal to the FCT minister, were in attendance. And speaking at the DSS office, the PDP stakeholder in River State, Aaron Chukwuemeka, said the major reason for the protest is to say no to the October 5th local government elections. Let's tell you that Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has declared today, actually, that's Thursday, October the 3rd, and Friday, October the 4th, as public holidays to enable residents of the state to travel to their various communities to participate in that planned local government election. The governor also announced strict restriction of vehicular movement of residents from midnight on Friday, October 4th to 5 p.m. on Election Day. Governor Fubara made the declarations in a statewide broadcast to the people of the state at the government house in Port Harcourt yesterday. Again, the public holiday declared by Governor Fubara is on Thursday, that's today, October the 3rd, and Friday, October the 4th. But there's still more in that mix. As a civil society group under the aegis of Joint Action for Democracy is calling on the National Judicial Commission to investigate some judges following the conflicting judgment on Rivers State local government election. The group made a call at a news conference in Abuja, and the leader, Mr. Peter Ame, states that the actions of the judges raise concerns over the integrity of the judiciary.
Local national interest group has decided.
We believe that there has been a troubling trend of partisanship among some judges, particularly those presiding over cases related to River State matters. It is time to salvage the integrity of the Federal High Court and the Nigerian judiciary most especially. The Federal High Court by Justice Lifu wants to take us back by asking INEC not to release the voter register. How do you say they should not release the voter register that has been released? The voter register is already in the custody of political parties that are participating for the local government elections. APP had confirmed that in one of their rally. PRP confirmed that they have the same voter register in their custody. In light of this severe concern regarding judicial conduct, JAD will take further steps by writing petitions to international bodies, including the United States, the United Kingdom, and European Union countries. We will advocate for visa ban against these politically biased judges and call for their names to be placed on international alert list. We must hold accountable those who compromise our democracy through their actions on the bench. In our petition, we will urge these countries to investigate the lifestyles of these judges and their family members abroad, especially their spending and investment in property, jewelry, and stocks.
Well, quite strong words there, but let's get to Rivers State now on ground and find out what exactly the temperature is like in the build-up to that planned election. We're joined by Mr. Henry Ekene, who's a legal advisor, Action People's Party in Rivers State, as well as Sir Chidi Lloyd, former member, Rivers Assembly and PDP candidate, MOR local government area. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'll begin with you, Mr. Ekene. Well, people are counting down to the election. I can talk about the state governments declaring a public holiday today and tomorrow. The Rivers State Electoral Commission saying they have the voters register and they plan to go ahead with that election, the APC and other parties. But what is the position of the APP in the light of the court judgments? First, the Rivers State High Court, which said that, well, RSEC can use the voter register and conduct that election. A federal high court who says no, INEC shouldn't give RSEC or RISEC, as the case may be, the voters register, and security agencies should not provide protection. What is your position, Mr. Ekene? Or Mr. Ekene, you can go ahead and unmute, please, if you got my question. All right, let's bring in Mr. Chidi Lloyd while we'll try to resolve that. All right, Mr. Ekene, I understand you're there now. Did you catch my question? Kindly unmute so we can get your response, Mr. Ekene. All right, let's bring in Mr. Chidi Lloyd on this. Mr. Lloyd, we saw the protest by the PDP in Rivers State, protested basically calling on the authorities not to hold that election. But the public holiday has been declared today, tomorrow. We've seen materials, and it looks like the Rivers State Electoral Commission is going ahead with this because they say they have the voter register anyway, so they're going to go ahead. Has that changed your position in any way? Oh dear, but not to worry. I will get that connection sorted and bring you the responses of the gentlemen. But let's tell you that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Victor Kajumbo, has ordered that the local government election scheduled for Saturday be conducted in adherence to the rule of law and subsistent judgments that enabled the exercise. The House also aligned itself with the position of the executive arm of government and the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, in ensuring that a proper constitution of duly elected political leadership at the local government level is a reality in the state. The Assembly issued the order in a speech by the Speaker of the group, Victor Kajumbo, during plenary yesterday, where it also approved the 2025 and 2027 medium-term expenditure framework sent to it by Governor Fubara. All right, so it's quite a lot of things playing out in River State, but we'll take a moment now. When we return, I'll bring you that conversation with the legal advisor of the APP in River State and Mr. Chidi Lord. Both of them will be giving their sides to the story. More importantly, hopefully providing clarity as the people of River State count down to Saturday. That's in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Who would have thought a local government election would be this contentious? The election has not even held yet, and it's, well, been welcomed, and that's talking about the build-up, been heralded by lots of controversy. Well, let's get that conversation ongoing now. Mr. Henry Ekene is a legal advisor, Action People's Party in Rivers State, as well as Mr. Chidi Lord, former member of Rivers Assembly and a PDP candidate, MOR local government area. Gentlemen, I'm glad we're able to at least speak right now because this is a very important conversation. So thank you for staying with us on Lunchtime Politics. So let me get right into it, Mr. Ekene. I was asking you earlier on what your position is now that we've heard the court, the Federal High Court, saying in Abuja, saying that, well, INEC should not give RISIC the register. The police, the DSS should not provide protection for that election. And then you've heard INEC saying they've not given RISIC, even though RISIC says they have the voter register, but there's also the protection bits which is missing. So has that changed the position of APP in any sense?
Yeah, Kyle, thank you. But let me also add, I'm not setting the question, but it's important that your question should cover the field. I believe you also have heard, as widely reported, maybe even earlier than the Honorable Justice Peter Lifu's judgment, that the Honorable Justice IPC Igwe of the High Court of Rivers State had earlier even given a judgment that mandated a public institution established by law and, of course, recognized in the Constitution, that is the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, first established in the Constitution as an executive body in the state, and then established by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2018, with the fundamental duty to conduct local government elections. And so that the High Court of Rivers State had earlier mandated that institution to conduct elections, and also mandated the security agencies to provide security for that election. So this should be the balance of even your question, even if I'm not setting the question. Now, coming back to your question, I think that nothing has changed. I'm not speaking for the commission, but the commission, like I said, is a constitutional body and a statutory body, and has a public duty to perform for society, deepening democracy. So that duty, the commission has come out publicly to say they are prepared to perform, and that is to conduct elections, not only relying on the judgment of IPC Igwe and the order thereto, but on the statutory provision under Section 5 of the River State Independent Electoral Commission law that established that commission to conduct elections into local government in River State. And again, also having been established in the Constitution to perform the same function, but to add even the order of the court. So I think RISEC haven't come up to say clearly that they have prepared for the elections and they are ready to conduct the election, and then there is a court judgment in that regard. I wonder what would be, with respect to Honorable Justice Peter Lifu, his subsequent directive or order that the commission should not perform its constitutional and statutory duty. For me, that's worrisome. And then also to restrain another institution, let's say the security agency, which are also established by the Constitution to perform constitutional duties, and further established by the laws that establish them to perform statutory duties, not to do so. I am aware as a lawyer that the courts have held several times over that statutory bodies and institutions and agencies should not be unwittingly restrained from performing their statutory functions. The Nigeria Police, established under Section 214 of the Constitution, has a primary duty to provide and ensure security of life and property to all Nigerians and all institutions at all times. Then further, the Police Act 2020 has the same responsibility and function and power on the police. So it's worrisome again for the courts to restrain the police from doing that. While on some other occasions, the courts have actually refrained from restricting the police from performing their duty. So the mix of all of this, for me, I think all of us as players, political parties, citizens, residents in Rivers, they look up to RISEC, which is a legitimate statutory institution to conduct elections, and it's exclusively so. INEC is not empowered to conduct elections to local governments in any state. The exclusive power to conduct elections into local government rests in RISEC that is established by law. And they have done according to the provisions of the law. Section 20, they have given the notice of election since almost 90 days ago, that's about 3 months ago. And then the political parties registered by INEC have indicated their interest and have participated in the processes that leading to the elections. I understand by the report that out of about 18 political parties, as many as 17, that's over 98% of the political parties, have participated in the processes preparatory to the election, and they are ready for the election. And I believe that Rivers residents and indigenous are also ready for the election.
All right, let's go to Mr. Lloyd. And just to say that, well, the judgment by Justice Igwe, which was said to have been given on September the 5th, but our correspondent cited September the 29th, is the strength on which this election was being conducted originally. So what I gave to you was the updates, which is what happened in the past 1 week. And that's the judgment from the Federal High Court and the back and forth between INEC and RSEC. So that's the essence of the background I laid, giving you the updates. The one on September the 4th was already decided already. But let's go to Mr. Lloyd. You're also a lawyer, so I imagine that you'll bring to bear that in this conversation. But at the end of the day, what we want is good governance in Rivers State. You've listened to Mr. Ekine, given the background that the court should not stop a body from performing its statutory function. A court already said, go ahead, conduct this election. So why would you have another court, a federal high court, now saying, no, do not conduct this election, which, by the way, is a statutory function of RISEC, and then ask the police, which the previous court had said provide protection, not to provide protection? What's going on here, Mr. Lloyd?
Now, Kayode, first and foremost, I'd like to make one correction. While you were trying to introduce me, you referred to me as a PDP candidate. I'm not. And ordinarily, one would have thought that you invited me for this program to listen to lectures from Barrister Ekine. But
you are local government chair. I think that's the correction there.
I'm good. Yeah. Now, I'd like to say this. I listened carefully to my brother Ekine when he talked about the provisions of the Police Act, and that the courts have held severally that the police or any other security agency should not be unwittingly, I noted down that immediately, unwittingly stopped from performing his constitutional role. And Kayode, one may ask that if the would means that the police can, in course of exercising his function, escort armed robbers to go and rob a house. You see, there are rules of engagement. What we did today, the first question you asked me was why the protest. We are members of the People's Democratic Party with the governor. The governor is also a member of the People's Democratic Party. And now we have a judgment from Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court, wherein lots of decisions were taken, including infringements. Justice Lifu, as much as pointed out infringements, non-adherence to the constitutional provisions, non-adherence to the Electoral Act. Kayode, I'd like to tell you that I was privileged. I was privileged to be a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly that midwifed the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission law. The law was not done outside the Constitution. We were guided by the provisions of the Constitution and the provisions of the Electoral Act. So the Rivers State Independent Electoral Act, it is not on its own. So there were provisions which the Federal High Court has also referred to that has to be obeyed. For instance, INEC has to release its registers to the political party. Only yesterday, to our chagrin, as opposed to what the chairman of INEC, RISEC, has been flouting, INEC came out and said they have not released registers to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for the law. INEC said so. We didn't say so. So as a political party, what we did today was to inform the world, especially the security agencies, that Rivers State is not a pariah state and that we are law-abiding citizens of this state. And one would also expect that the governor will also respect the law. Courts have spoken. When once courts speak, the only other thing you can do is to go on appeal, just like the governor and the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission did when they ran to the Court of Appeal to seek to stay the judgment of Justice Laviu in APP against the Rivers State House of Assembly. They sought to stay execution, and the rest is history. So, you know, like Kayode, I am baffled. This was not what we were taught in law school.
Okay, so quickly, let me ask both of you, Mr. Lloyd. Pardon me.
Of sport must be obeyed.
Okay, so on the strength of that, Mr. Lloyd, let's talk about the September judgment by Justice Igwe, which says go ahead with that election. Don't you think it's fair to vacate that judgment? Has it been vacated? Does this Federal High Court judgment render it null and void? Then I'll come to Mr. Ekine.
I would like to tell you that I have not cited the judgment of the Honorable Justice IPC Igwe, because what happened in that case is that they sued themselves. The APP sued the governor of Rivers State, sued the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, and we are not meddlesome interlopers. You can only go to ask for the judgment if you're a party to the suit. So I do not know the contents of Justice IPC Igwe's judgment. All I know is that there is a judgment that by Justice Peter Liviu of the Federal High Court that inures on INEC, that inures on the DSS, that inures on the police. And we have gone to tell them, look, you cannot do this. You shouldn't do this. We merely went to advise. So all the other things will be decided in the court. We will see if you can put something on nothing and allow it to stand.
So, Mr. Kenneth, so basically, Mr. Lloyd, you're not participating in that election.
McCoy against PSC.
Right. So PDP is not participating in that election.
Absolutely. We cannot be part of the challenge.
All right.
That's why
Mr.
we are making it known. There are
pardon me, Mr. Lloyd, because of time, let me allow him speak, then maybe we'll get final thoughts.
It's not an event.
All right.
You must
it's a process. Absolutely. So, Mr. Ekine, pardon me, Mr. Lloyd, because of time, we have to take Mr. Ekine's thoughts on this. And the same question to you, Mr. Lloyd.
What is happening in Rivers State is that the governor of Rivers State has become a danger.
Well, we have to come in now, Mr. Lloyd, so that Mr. Ekine can speak. So, Mr. Ekine, same question to you. We're totally out of time, but Mr. Lloyd, you've had your time.
That are going on.
You've had your time. Let's allow Mr. Ekine weigh in on this one. Okay.
And
well, Mr. Ekine, it looks like Mr. Lloyd is not responding. So let me just get you to speak to this. The same question to you, but the same question to you, Mr. Ekine, and this is about the Federal High Court's ruling by Justice Lifu. Aren't you meant to vacate that particular judgment as well? Or set it aside, rather.
I'll certainly respond.
It's a straight question to you. Because of time, I want you to speak to that, then you can add to it. Aren't you meant to vacate or vacate that particular judgment as well?
We won't vacate that judgment because we're not parties to that judgment. The opposed party wasn't a party.
Yeah, but he expects us to vacate the judgment of Justice IPC Igwe.
What conversation are we having? What conversation are we having? Dr. Lloyd, please allow me to speak. May I have?
You have the floor, please. Go ahead. You have the floor, Mr. Ekine. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. The judgment reference here with respect to IPC Igwe is that I think that I can speak on. But I know so much about the judgment that was delivered by Justice Peter Lifu. Incidentally, there was a day that matter came up actually for the hearing and then the argument by parties. I was in court, that same court, for another matter. But, well, like I said, I am not counsel in that matter, and then we're not parties in that matter. But whether that judgment will be vacated, it's certainly carried there with respect. Not quite the issue here about the conduct of the election in Rivers State, because there is a substantive, subsisting, valid, and unquestionable, unarguable, undebatable judgment and valid judgment
well,
that
Mr.
ought to be obeyed.
Pardon me. We have to anchor. We're totally out of time. If we take an extra minute, maybe I have to pay for this, but we totally have to run. Clearly, this is an ongoing conversation, but we have to thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of the show. Gentlemen, we have to go now. We're bound by time. But let's tell you that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is asking the National Assembly to create a single 6-year, single tenure for anyone who becomes president of Nigeria. Former presidential candidate of the PDP in 2023 election said the presidency should be rotated among the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. And that's a statement by the former vice president's media office, saying that he made the proposal in a memorandum dated August the 30th to the Deputy Senate President Barau Jirin. But we have to anchor at this point. Of course, the Rivers politics is ongoing, and stay with Channels Television for all of the updates. But we have to once again thank our guest, Mr. Henry Kine, legal advisor, APP, and Mr. Chidi Lord, former member, Rivers Assembly, former local government chair, MOR, local government area in Rivers State. And you've been said, that's Lunchtime Politics. I'm Carter Dikin.